what other trends do we need to talk about and unpack when it comes to Gen Z?
So speaking of the election year, so into the research I found shows that 1 in 4 students, so 1 out of every 4, is using marijuana in some capacity. I think that may change what our youth ministries look like. I mean, I was talking to some youth workers in California who said we now have to monitor very carefully who brings snacks to youth group and what those snacks look like, because there's a product called Weedos that looks like Cheetos. And I just think that's going to be a different kind of conversation in our student ministries about how you balance what's wise and what's legal.
That's good.
But I think the underlying part of Crystal's point is, I think this is a major issue for youth leaders across the country.
For sure.
Is how are we dealing with the anxiety coping issue? And how are we either structuring or restructuring our ministries to be a safe place? Because having conversations yesterday with a very respected psychologist that we love and adore, her telling me it's not epidemic, it's pandemic. And I think marijuana use is simply a symptom of an anxiety-ridden generation. So that's one thing I think we've got to tackle in 2020.
So we know how a lot of students nowadays like hiding behind the screen and will prefer, let's say more to you via text than they will face to face. But via text messages, they'll open up a whole lot more, right? So I'm seeing a lot more advertisements for therapists that you can text.
Yes.
Right? So it makes me wonder how maybe the church should not necessarily shun students for not wanting to verbally communicate. I mean, yeah, everyone needs to be able to communicate verbally. That's not what I'm saying. But maybe not shun that part of them, but just lean into it to maybe do some kind of, not necessarily, we're not licensed therapists within the church, not all of us,
Right.
But maybe provide some sort of texting ability where if you're experiencing that anxiety or some kind of something, maybe not necessarily clinical diagnosis of anxiety, but you're experiencing some sort of pressures or life that you just need somebody to talk to, how can we lean into that? What can we provide? I know within my church, one of the things that I used to do every so often was we use a texting system, and I would be on my computer and I would lie and say that I'm sitting here in front of my phone, but I would text all of our students and say, hey, it's 3:30. I'll be here in front of my phone until 4:00. Text any questions you have, any things you want to say.
That's
I
great.
would literally I can type.
It's like
fast
office
and I can
hours.
Exactly, right? And I would just text students back and forth,
brilliant.
and a lot will
Candace.
come out from there, right? It was confidential. If I needed to look somebody's phone number up because of something they said, or say, hey, we should continue this, and then I would do that. But there's some ways that we can provide maybe more consistent, maybe daily, or things for students for them to have that outlet so that they're not eating the Weedos and is that what it was called?
Weedos. Candace, what you said reminded me of a trend that I've noticed in my own small group, and I don't super know what to do with it, but it's been interesting. And I think it's connected to anxiety, that when I plan an event and announce an event early on, there's very little participation. But when I text the group and say, I'm going to be at this Starbucks at this address from 3:30 to 4 today, suddenly they all show up. And part of me wonders, is the anxiety of waiting or build up or who's going to be at or how long do I have to stay at an event, they just check out. Whereas the spontaneity of, let's get together right now, it just seems to have a better response rate.
Wow.
I wonder if that's connected to anxiety.